Hello, my name is Katrina and I will be talking about the incarceration of men, women, African Americans, and whites and how it affects them. The phenomenon we know as incarceration began in the early 1970s, and has increased since. People of color make up about 38% of the United States population, and they account for 60% of those in prison. The prison population grew by 700% from 1970 to 2005, a rate that is outpacing crime and population rates. In today's society, people of color continue to be unequally incarcerated, policed, and sentenced to death at significantly higher rates than those of Caucasian race. Why is that? People of color make up about 30% of the United States population, and 60% of those are imprisoned. The incarceration rates are unequally impacted by men of color. 1 in every 15 African American men and 1 in every 36 Hispanic men are incarcerated, in comparison to 1 in every 106 white men. According to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, 1 in 3 black men can expect to go to prison in their lifetime. According to recent data by the Department of Education, African American students are arrested far more often than their white classmates. African American youth have higher rates of juvenile incarceration and are more likely to be sentenced to adult prison. According to the Sentencing Project, even though African American juvenile youth are about 16% of the youth population, 37% of their cases are moved to criminal courts, and 58% of African American youth are sentenced to adult prisons. As the number of women incarcerated has increased by 800% over the last 3 decades, women of color have been unequally represented. African American women are 3 times more likely than white women to be incarcerated, while Hispanic women are 69% more likely than white women to be incarcerated. The United States is the imprisonment capital of the world. Just one state, Louisiana, has an incarceration rate of 5 times higher than Iran, and 13 times higher than China, nations which Americans are supposed to feel superior to. More than 2 million Americans are behind bars in jails and prisons, which is the highest on earth in total number by the percent of population. According to the recent estimates, African American males are imprisoned at an overall rate of nearly 7 times that of white men. It is often said that the poor are the ones who get imprisoned. Statistics indicate that African American males with lower levels of education are more likely to be incarcerated, receive longer sentences, or are less likely to receive a no prison option when it is available than similar whites. A year prior to Barack Obama's presidency, roughly 35% of incarcerated men in the federal and state prisons and jails were African Americans, although they comprised just over 12% of the total non-incarcerated adult male population. If you refer to the figure that is about to show on the video, you can see how men, white and African American, including Latino, and also women, and how the lifetime of the likelihood of imprisonment / incarceration looks like. If you refer to the next picture that we'll show in the video, you will see how the incarceration rate by race and ethnicity in 2005 was. The comparison from white to black is at least maybe 5 times more how African Americans were incarcerated than whites were. I do not believe that the incarceration effect should be our go-to punishment, because it just is racist, and personally it is racist, and I do not believe that African Americans should be convicted of their crimes just because of their race. Thank you for giving your time and attention to this video. Thank you for giving your time and attention to this video, and I appreciate that I can get my word across.